Okay, I'm going to have a quick overview of Amazon S3 bucket. So, before going to Amazon S3, I'm going to talk about auto scaling groups and load balancing. Auto scaling groups, what do you mean by auto scaling groups? For example, if an instance is going to be having failure status, or instance is going to be destroyed for some reason, or if health is bad, then auto scaling groups will be creating instance for you before we see some issues in the application. So that is the purpose of auto scaling. And load balancing is like a number of instances will be having connected to a single load balancing, and then that load balancing will be providing a single DNS, which is like domain name, will be providing. And then for auto scaling groups, we have like four types, which I like to tell in something overview, which is like so the like manual scaling and dynamic. And dynamic is like step scaling. So what is step scaling is something like if the CPU percentage is more than 70%, then it creates an automatic instance. If similarly, like if the instance the CPU percentage is 30% or less than, then it reduce one instance. So this is a simple step. Then target tracking, which means you need to have the instance consistently for like using 50 percentage. So during that time we can go with target tracking. And then we have scheduled scaling. Scheduled scaling is something like the business hours from 10 a.m. to 6 a.m. For example, a bank that will be operated during a particular time. During the time, you can have a high number of instances, and the later time we can reduce the instance. That is a scheduled scaling. And then the predictable scaling. Predictable scaling is a name based upon the machine learning, based upon the world graph. We can predict the upcoming traffic ahead. So this is the short thing about the auto scaling groups and load balancing. We'll going about the S3. So S3 is one of the major building block of Amazon Web Services, and it's like the storage is infinite scaling. So the storage is like not a limited one. You can put n number of objects. It's like a very highly scalable thing in the Amazon Web Services. You can even host the application in the S3 bucket. You can create a website, a static website, and a lot of things. So the we'll be seeing in the thing. So the naming convention for the S3 is something like you should be having a unique name across the region, across the global, across the account. So it's like a unique name over the global in the Amazon Web Services. So we say the files as object in the AWS. So the maximum size of a object can be 5 TB. So more than 5 TB, you need to split the objects in the Amazon Web Services, in the AWS S3. Then there is a concept of security. Security, it's like user based, resource based, and then encryption based. So if you're um, planning for a single user to give access for the bucket, then that will be an IAM. And then resource based will be directly attaching the bucket policies to the Amazon bucket. And then encryption, the name itself says it uses the encryption algorithm, encrypts and puts the data. So this is a types of securities. And so we can create an EC2 instance to access an S3 bucket. Then what we want to do is we want to create a EC2 instance role with IAM permission. As I discussed, like IAM roles are the things to access the Amazon Web Services inside the AWS. So anything you want to any service you want to access another service, you need to create a role for. So the EC2 instance should have a role to access the bucket, S3 bucket. So we can access the cross account as well. If for example there is a different account, that can be also accessed using the bucket policies. So S3 can host a website that can be in the format of bucket name.s3-website, the name which you gave, and the region, and AWS Amazon AWS.com. So you can create a website. There will be few naming conventions which you need to go through. The bucket, for example, I can give you an example. A bucket name.s3 hyphen. Then you can give some naming convention, and then it will be taking the AWS region dot Amazon AWS.com. Then if 403 error if you're getting, then the bucket is not having a public access. So the other concept here is like bucket versioning. So you can enable in S3 for versioning. It enables the bucket level. For example, the version 1, 2, 3. It's like protect your data against the unintended deletes. So you can, if you are going to delete without your knowledge, then the versioning will help. You can roll back to the old versions. So anything which data enters before the non-versioning, that data will be not versioned. So you need to enable it before to ensure that all the data has been versioning. And then when you delete the data after the versioning, it goes to the delete marker, which means even though you deleted, it's not physically deleted. You can even revert the deleted versioning. Okay, then S3 can be used for access logs, for the audit purpose. A lot of things it can be used, mainly used for the backup, disaster recovery, audit, a lot of things. Then S3 replication. So replications is like cross region replication, same region replication. So if you are going to replicate the data over the region, same region or cross region, versioning should be enabled as a default. So that is a rule number 1. You need to enable the versioning before you copy your data from one region to other region or the same region. So both the regions, source and destination, should be enabled versioning. Bucket can be in different accounts. Copying is asynchronous, must give a proper IAM access to S3. Cross region, it can be used for compliance, lot of things like that. And same region replication is for log testing the production. Existing file will be not already okay. It's for just just I'm telling about the use case. It's for testing the accounts, the same thing from the production to test. And then storage class, we have like many types of storage class. So one is like standard general purpose, infrequent access. Infrequent access is like one region infrequent access. And then intelligent tiering, glacier, and glacier deep archive. So the first one is like S3 standard, and second one is like S3 standard infrequent access, and S3 one zone infrequent access, and then S3 intelligent tiering, and then Amazon Glacier, Amazon Deep Archive. So the standard one is like 99% availability and frequent access to data, low latency, high throughput. It's like a single region. Okay, then if you're going with the infrequent access, that data, it's like data which is like infrequently accessed, that can be, we can go with this option to reduce some cost. So this again 99.9% availability, the cost is less comparing this general purpose. This can be stored for disaster recovery, lot of things. So this is like when you don't know which to choose between the general purpose and the infrequent access, then go with the intelligent tiering. It chooses for you. It has the same high throughput and low latency. Cost will be optimized based upon the object's movement across the two tiers. It goes like frequent, the data will be categorized and moved accordingly to the frequent and infrequent accesses. Then Amazon one zone, it is same as it's like same as infrequent access, but it is like an in single availability zone. Infrequent access is something rarely access is one zone infrequent access. So we have infrequent access and one zone infrequent access. One zone infrequent access is something it is in single region. It's like 20% cost less than. Then we have Amazon Glaciers and Amazon Deep Archive. Low cost object, so it's like it's very low cost cost objects like in GP per month, mentioned for archive and backup. When we put the data in Glaciers, retained for years, various retrieval options and fees. We have like 1 to 5 minutes like when we pull the data, when you want it very fast, 1 to 5 minutes, then it is known as expedited. and then standard will be 3 to 5 hours, and bulk will be 5 to 12 hours. This is for Amazon glaciers. One is expedited, standard, and bulk. Bulk will be 5 to 12 hours. Expedited is like 1 to 5 minutes. And deep archive, we have two options: standard and bulk, 12 and 48 hours. These are the things about the AWS in general. um, we have like S3 object log and Glacier Vault. So log, which is like we write it once and we never it like you can read it many, but you cannot edit the data.